Law of Mahalo as we look at OKO Grab Art number 8. Much like 7, it is similar, but now instead of it being a same side wrist grab, it's going to be a cross hand wrist grab. So once again, coming from 12 o'clock in our green zone, left foot slightly forward. The attack is going to look like this. The opponent's going to step forward and reach across his own body towards our right hand. And that's why it's called a cross hand wrist grab. He's going across the center line to reach across. Notice how my shoulder then turns to cancel my second weapon. I need to wind up my second weapon in order to come in after the grab. Once again, this is a when-then technique. When he grabs, then we respond. As he grabs, my left foot slightly forward. He's going to grab. I'm going to step back naturally, pulling his head forward, canceling his height and his depth at the same time. As I do so and I get my base of action, I'm going to reach across his arm and grab my own hand. Now I've created a fulcrum with either my wrist and his wrist, or if I bend my elbow to contact, I've now created the fulcrum. I'm going to rotate counterclockwise towards my left to affect the opening of the gate. I'm going to strip the hand from his. Notice once again that that pushes me. My weight shifts towards 430, allowing me to kick, cross over, and on guard into a zone of sanctuary. Once again, from naturally standing, he grabs my wrist. Step back naturally. As I settle, reach across, and grab. Strip, kick, cross, and cover out. This has been OKO Grab Art number 8. Stay tuned for the C&P. Aloha and mahalo as we look at OKO Grab Art number 8. Similarly like 7, the big question is making distance your friend. Distance management. Now as we do so in our initial step, where we step is important. If I step directly towards 6, it is not going to be as much of distance as going towards 430. So we want to be cognizant where in our opponent's attack dictates our avenues of escape. Number 2, once again, thumb is the gate. Making sure that we're using our leverage, in this case our wrist or our elbow, to affect the leverage for him to open his thumb and let go of our wrist. We're modifying our opponent's height, width, and depth, giving us time, also canceling the second weapon. Now, 8 introduces something that 7 doesn't have, this idea of levers and leverage. We've previously seen several techniques in which if this is an arm coming in, I deviate the weapon, and I can use the arm to either strike or to control their arm, affecting either a lock or a break, depending on the circumstance. In this particular case, we want to use our left arm on top of their radial nerve to allow us to use it as a fulcrum. Even if my hands stay the same, I can drop my elbow and notice how the stick is moving. That's allowing me to crank. In other words, my elbow is now the fulcrum, allowing me to crank down on their wrist, affecting the release of my own wrist. Levers and leverage is going to show up sporadically throughout the system. I think it's something that we need to consider, especially when we're getting our elbows involved in grabs, hugs, holds, locks, and chokes. And once again, zones of sanctuary, of safety and sanctuary are important. Considering your avenues of escape, noticing, being aware of your surroundings. For instance, right now, my avenues of escape is directly to my right. Your left is a stairway that leads to an emergency exit door. As well as to my left, there are stairs that lead to an emergency exit door. Those are my zones of safety. But depending on where my opponent attacks me from, might cancel off. For instance, if the attack is coming from my 9 o'clock, my left side is going to cancel that left side door exit out of here. Instead, my best zone of sanctuary and my cross and cover out is going to be towards my right, towards the open door and open stairway. Keeping cognizant of the different levels of safety within your environment, environmental awareness. We'll talk about this more in separate videos about situational awareness. Once again, this has been OKO Grab Art number 8, Concepts and Principles. Aloha, mahalo, and live pono.